Hey y'all, my name's Seth Packan, and this is Podunk Perspective, a podcast based on the Podunk Perspective. Podunk Perspective, we have Whelan Stone with us. Whelan Andrew Stone. How we doing, guys?
Doing good. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for coming on. So you guys are a duo in town. You guys do some music and stuff. You guys have some other jobs you do that entail some cool stuff. Tell us a little bit how you guys got together and started your duo.
You want me to go?
Well, I moved. Joe's a Nashville local, so he's been here, born and raised. I moved down here from Iowa and immediately moved in with Joe from a mutual friend, the Bethards, who are also in the music industry. So we met 8 years ago in 2016, and through a long journey of music, different careers, we ended up in the duo. That's kind of a long story.
So were you guys obviously friends first, and then kind of thought about the duo idea, or how did that?
Well, we traveled a lot, on the road. Stone was out with Tucker Bethard, and we were all friends. We became friends on the road and lived together. And I just feel like over time we started writing songs together, and then that turns into playing out live together. And when I signed a publishing deal, they were kind of like, you believe in your songs and you want them to get cut. And there are certain songs that we really believed in, they weren't getting cut, but we were playing live. It was like, why don't y'all start releasing them? Why don't y'all start putting them out? And really, that's how it came about. We weren't getting into it trying to be artists, but it kind of turned into that, just over time.
So, Joe, were you always kind of involved in the music industry?
Yeah, I grew up in it. My dad's a publisher, so I got to see the business side of it. I didn't have any family members that were artists or played guitar or anything, but I just was fascinated with the artistry and the songwriting and stuff. I've always had that. It wasn't so much in country, but more in rap and stuff, but always loved that. So when I started writing songs, I was like, well, I probably need to start learning how to play guitar and stuff too, but I love the songwriting part, and so that's what kind of brought me into it. And having my dad being a publisher and kind of knowing that side definitely helped that.
So, Stone, you played football in college. How'd that turn into getting into the music industry?
Yeah, I didn't even know the music industry existed. It's funny because I was at a job fair at Iowa after I had graduated. A bunch of former players came and set up booths for what you wanted to go into. And George Kittle's dad was actually a lawyer, so I went to his booth first because I wanted to go to law school. And I asked him about it. I went there with my notebook to get all these, what should I do? And he's like, don't do it. And I was like, that's not what I want to hear right now. He's like, you can always come back and go to law school, but you can't get back, these next years. So I was like, okay, well, that just really doesn't answer much for me about now what I want to do.
Yeah.
So we went out to the Rose Bowl and played, and once the game's over, you get to book your flight to your home, wherever you want to go. And the Bethards like, just come out to Nashville and check it out for a little bit. So I flew straight from Cali to Nashville, and they kind of introduced me to the world of music, and it was pretty cool. So
in a way, it was kind of the red carpet introduction to music. We got to be out on the road with Dierks Bentley and on a tour bus.
Especially I feel like at that time, Tucker was just hot too.
We were all friends, right? Same age. So
So I wrapped up my football training, and once it didn't work out for me any farther than college, I ended up moving down with the Bethards and getting on his tour bus and going out on the Summer on a Beach tour with Dierks Bentley.
Wow.
and that was my introduction into the Nashville music scene.
That's crazy.
That's kind of how I got tied down in here. His brother was my roommate at Iowa, so I had that connection.
What position did you play in football?
I was a wide receiver.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. You had some pretty cool teammates you played with.
Yeah, a lot of good guys that somehow made it down here to Nashville too. A lot of the guys that are still playing are down in these neck of the woods, so we still get to hang out in the off season.
Who are some of those names that you played with?
Kittle's down here. He's had a good career for San Francisco. We get to golf and hang out all the time, and which is nice because we were tight at Iowa. Yeah. CJ was obviously my roommate. He still lives down here. TJ Hawkinson is putting together a good career. He's down here. And other friends I played with are elsewhere in the States, but to have that group here in Nashville is pretty special.
That's really cool.
And through them, they've brought a lot of guys to Nashville. They're training in the off season.
Right.
Since they love the music aspect, they're always around, like
absolutely
at all the shows and things. They're putting on shows, and we've been lucky to be a part of a lot of that.
Yeah, I remember I came and I was out at Live Oak, and you guys were playing, and TJ Hawkinson was out there.
Oh yeah,
he came and was watching the music and stuff. I thought that was so cool because it's just such a local Nashville bar, you know. But at the same time, you know, you still have these athletes and stuff that are in town. I mean, you have D-Hop, you know, that's doing stuff in the music industry.
Oh yeah,
now. It's wild. Have you guys seen a lot of support from these guys that you know that you're friends with that are athletes?
I feel like a ton, like more so something than like I would even expect sometimes. I mean, guys like Kittle and them and TJ Hawkinson. I mean, they'll post when we release. They'll do. I mean, pretty much anything. They'll put on shows at Brooklyn Bowl for Tight End U, and they've got guys like Jelly Roll and John Party who are on that higher level, and because they love to help us out, we get to play those types of things just with them and being involved, and so they've helped us a ton. I feel like
that's really
it's been
cool.
great.
So rumor has it you guys played a backyard party before for Mr. Kittle. Is this true?
Yeah, every year it's a fun party. It's
the progression of the backyard party has really been something too. Right when he moved down here, he wanted to just have some friends over to hang out. And, you know, backyard party, and that's what it was. And we set up some bar stools and played into these low-end microphones, a little show, just acoustic show, a bunch of friends. And
no
then,
reverb or anything, just straight raw.
That's awesome.
And then the next year, you know, amps it up a little bit. There's some food trucks start coming in. We get some more production. The next year, John Party's playing it, Gavin DeGraw.
That's so cool.
It just keeps going up. So I'm excited to see what he's got in store for us this year for Kittle Fest.
How many, is this like a massive party? Like we're talking like...
Not Project X style. He likes to keep it close to home.
Mm-hmm.
One year, you know, he invited some people, and they just ended up bringing their friends who brought their friends, and so it kind of he's limited it now to just you know close friends. And it does.
Are you guys playing? I mean,
there.
you guys are playing some originals, but are you doing are they requesting like covers and stuff too? Like. Or is it like?
I feel like
is it a very like backyard Broadway vibe, or is it backyard like this is a concert? You know, like
for the most part, they let us kind of do our thing. They know that for us, like we got into it. We never like got up playing Broadway gigs, like a bunch of cover songs. So like it was kind of like they knew that's how we got into it in the first place, and so they kind of like just let us get up and like, man, y'all play y'all stuff, and that's why we were always like we jump at the opportunity, obviously, but. We just kind of get up and play songs that nobody knows, but at least they're hopefully they'll hear it one day.
Is it pretty fun and wild by the end of it? Everyone's feeling
a good time, and the
good?
concert really isn't the party. You know, it's just one aspect of it. You know, there's drinking games and
absolutely
and, other activities there. Even last year's like county fair was his theme, and so he had like a mechanical bull and. Other fair games like brought in, so
that's wild.
It's not just like a concert. It's just that's charity.
John Party was running the mechanical bull. He was the one controlling it. He was the one talking to everybody. He's like, "Y'all go get on the bull." I'm like, "Well, you're controlling it." It was a good time. It's always a good time.
Ended with a nice fireworks show.
Yeah, that's so
pretty
cool.
Pretty sick party.
Do they do any of the athletes try to get up on the mic and sing some songs?
Oh yeah. George gets up there every year and usually sings like Creed or something.
Can he sing?
Yeah, he can.
He can sing as good as what you think a ball and tight end can sing. Yeah.
That's so cool. So
he gets up and sings less sometimes.
Is it like all athletes that are there, or is it kind of a mix of everyone? You know, you have
friends, whoever that falls under that spectrum. There could be influencers from Friends of the Wives or. Just whoever they've come close with over the years. So not necessarily athletes, but there are a lot of athletes there.
Like last year, Jordan Clarkson made an appearance.
Yeah, some NBA players.
I've never seen an NBA player. He was just it was super cool. Yeah, a lot of fun.
You guys, so did you play sports in high school, Joe?
I did. I played baseball and football. Not good enough to make it at the next level, but I loved it for sure. I feel like that being a part of the football team and stuff, it just teaches you a lot. And there's a lot of aspects of that you bring into the music side too.
That was my next question. Is like you feel like there's a lot of team aspect that you guys share in music that was also you got it from playing sports and stuff as well.
Definitely, especially like being on the road. Like the road part, especially starting out, it's a grind. Like 99% of things don't go your way. It's like you could plan as much as you want ahead. It's like something's gonna go wrong, and like kind of figuring that out like on the spot, and like not letting that break you. I guess that's something I feel like I pull from sports. That it's like just figure it out as you go. Like you don't let it like break you and make you quit or anything. And then I mean the feeling of like getting up and playing, I feel a lot of similarities in like when I played football or baseball or like
that's cool.
Made the
You're
hit or
performing,
something. Yeah, it has that similar rush that you felt playing sports.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you guys talked about you guys have been on the road a lot. What's your favorite aspect of going out on the road and traveling and seeing all these different cities, going place to place?
For me, it's just the aspect of traveling. I think it's so cool to get to, get out of, the little bubble that a lot of people get trapped in with, work and life and, just grinding away to, make money to provide for themselves. Getting able to, go other places and see other cultures is pretty sick.
Yeah, well, especially you, Stone. Like, you've been always traveling through sports as well, right? College, so you've got to probably see some pretty cool parts of the country.
Some pretty cool parts of the country, pretty cool venues. I mean, some of those venues in Big Ten are pretty big, pretty sick. And then for music, got me to go to over I think 10 or 12 countries. So just doing that for work is pretty special.
What do you like about traveling, Joe?
I mean, it's always fun getting up and playing your stuff in front of people around the country, like just to see reactions. I mean, there's gonna be people who don't like it, and there's gonna be people who love it, and like just seeing how it resonates, like and meeting new people and them asking how we got into it and like how we came about, and that's always fun. I mean, and being with the guys on the road, it's hard to beat. Like that's like one of those things where again, it's like a love-hate. Like you break down on the side of the road on I-65 at 2 a.m. and you're like, man, this sucks. But then you kind of like pull together and like figure it out. And you look back and you're like, man, that was the best thing ever. Like,
that bond you build with people on the road too after going through all that stuff is
absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty unique.
Yeah, that's wild. So what's one of the coolest venues y'all's played out, or maybe one of the coolest states you've been to that you're like, damn, this place is sweet?
We both made it to Red Rocks. You were at the Red Rocks show, right?
Yeah.
We were both at Red Rocks for the Dierks Bentley Summer on a Beach tour with Tucker Bethard. That's probably the coolest venue I've been to.
I'd agree with that. Like the one that we've been to, and like I was on the road writing. He was on the road playing guitar and managing and stuff. But I mean, I guess in terms of playing, I mean, Brooklyn Bowl was a good one just because it was for Tight End U.
Oh yeah.
For like a venue like that we've played, that was probably my favorite, just because of the atmosphere. I mean, we were playing with a lot of greats.
We've done this festival out in California that we're going back to again this year called Day on the Ridge Festival. It's in Gilroy, California. It's put on by some really great people, and it is just a ball. They treat you well, and everyone's having a good time. We're going to go back there May 25th. Actually, tickets are available somewhere. You can pull up a link. Pull up a link right here, get the tickets. But May 25th, that venue is a good time. They got a pool like in the middle of the venue by the stage, so people are swimming while you're playing. It's sick.
Yeah, that's wild. Do you guys got some new plans for music coming out this year?
Yeah, right now we're meeting with distribution companies, and the goal is to, I guess our last release was in October. We're trying to get on the ball to get those next 6-7 songs in order so we can, release every 6 weeks. But the goal is to continue to keep on growing just, the songs that we have out that may have not been heard, but also putting new music out that within the next month or two we're
absolutely
getting something new out. So, yeah.
It's really cool. Really cool. What has been the biggest difference of working together than working separate from each other in the music industry? Like, do you like a lot like the connections that you've brought like together, right? So like you've had your own connections, Stone. And Joe, you've had your own connections. How has that helped you in your career?
my connections weren't music related.
Yeah.
They ended up working out just because I happened to know some special people, but none of it was music related. So the shows, got the more musical connections than myself. So,
well, yeah, but also I think for music, and I feel like I've seen this in a lot of artists. It's like the guys who like pull a team together and like truly work as a team. It seems those are, and it works different for everybody, but those are the guys that, at least from my perspective, it always works out because it's like everybody has something they bring to the table. Right. Everybody has something they add. Like
Exactly.
Stone's a killer guitar player and an insane harmonizer, and it's like without that, it's like you're not pulling certain things out. But in like connection wise, it's like, and those football guys, in terms of playing shows and stuff, they've hooked us up with almost better shows than some people in the music industry. So like that stuff all plays a part. But working as a team, even if you have disagreements, there's ways around it and like ways to figure out the best way to achieve.
And I feel like I've always seen you guys out and about. You guys are always networking, talking shop with artists, whoever it is, or management team this, or it's cool. It's important in this town. I feel like
for sure,
trying to get gigs and trying to do the thing.
Yeah, no doubt. It feels like it's a town where anybody, any given day, something could pop, something could happen. Like somebody has nothing going on, it's like don't ever count them out. And so and why would you? Music is such a wide range. And the good thing now is we've got people like Jelly Roll on the radio, and then you also got Eric Church and Whelan, and like it is so wide open that why would you not want to build a network of a team?
Who are some of y'all's favorite artists?
In country, or just in general?
In general.
In country, I've always loved Eric Church. Like I just love his songwriting aspect. He had such a cool artist thing to me. Like impossible to like emulate, like to do it, like to recreate on somebody else trying to recreate Eric would just seem it would be impossible. He has such a cool, unique thing.
Absolutely.
And obviously, Whelan crushed it. His albums to me they're great. Yeah. He can sing. He's got some stylistic things that are awesome, but country, those are two of my favorite right now.
What about you, Stone?
Right when Timberlake kind of revealed the world to Stapleton, those first Stapleton albums were something that I had on repeat. As of lately, I've been listening to some Steven Wilson Jr. Has something new coming up. But I just respect all that whole Whelan Hardy crew.
Well, you weren't necessarily listening to country. Maybe you were, but in the locker room or
No, not too much. In the weight room, our strength coach would put on some songs that CJ's dad, Casey Beathard, had wrote.
Yeah,
I had never heard them, but we didn't listen to very much country.
Yeah. What are some other influences that are outside of country that y'all listen to?
I grew up listening to classic rock,
so
and I feel like that's rooted in a lot of music.
And a lot of his guitar playing, he comes up with a lot of cool riff driven stuff, like that adds to a song. You're like, oh man, the way we're writing this song is so cool now because of the influence of old '90s rock.
That tied in with growing up listening to pop radio. The hits that were on the radio. Pop is tied into pretty much any genre that there is. You can always hear
especially
hints
in today's day of country. It's just you have to have so many influences outside of it being a country song for it to be a good country song. It's very interesting. What is your thought on how many different you have your country rock, country pop? What's your thought on all these different ways country's going?
I don't see a problem with it. There's still the traditional country that has a place, and it expanding. Kind of just brings more light to country music.
Absolutely.
Whether you like it or hate it, traditional country is still alive.
Yeah, it was your Zach Top.
So I don't see it doing too much.
Yeah, there's no competition. I guess in at least in my eyes, in it, it's like you can be traditional country, or you can kind of have the pop country thing, and you have the same ability to be successful as any other artist. So it's like there's no competition, and whether or not like one specific type of country is your thing or not, or my thing or not. I feel like it's awesome that the door's wide open.
And when you're going into like rooms and doing these writes and stuff, you're not necessarily writing a specific genre. It's kind of open to whatever, you know.
And that's what's cool about the Nashville writing rooms now is it's like we're not going write this specific song, or at least we're not. Like when we go in rooms, we're going, let's just write what we're feeling and what feels the best and the coolest song.
Yeah.
So.
Have you guys written with some cool guys?
Oh man, we've gotten some great. I've actually written with Steven Wilson Jr. and he is popping right now. Like he's one of the coolest things out. But
That's really cool.
He just comes up with that gut string guitar and he has a great sound. But we've written with Casey Beathard, Luke Dick, Ryan Tyndall. I mean, kind of
Jeffrey Steele's a legend. We've written with him a few times. Those are some of our favorite writes, at least.
Yeah,
I'm sure we're missing
some great names.
I mean, obviously Tucker. I think Tucker's going to be on his way to be a Hall of Fame songwriter, and Joe's gotten a lot of good songs with Tucker.
Yeah. Shout out Forrest Finn. I love his writing.
Oh, Forrest is awesome.
I love a lot of his songs.
We've written a ton of songs with Forrest.
Just any of the songs that he's a part of, I'm like, damn, this is a Forrest Finn song. I can tell it's good.
Forrest is gonna be one of those names you're gonna start seeing on all the big songs.
Right.
It takes, you know how it is. It takes one, it seems like, and then your name starts.
Yeah, you guys have a song, or maybe more than just one with him.
Oh yeah, we have
at least one.
Yeah. Goodbye You Wanted is one.
That's one of my favorite songs.
I think he's on Down Like That.
Down Like That.
Yeah.
Yep. Best $20.
Yeah.
We have a few just off the top of the head. There might be more, but yeah, for sure those three.
That's really cool. So, for the people that don't know a lot about the writing scene or music scene, what is your practice like going into a song write, and like how do you go about it? Like how do you do it?
I mean, it's different every day. Like sometimes you come in with just like a concept or like an idea, and you're like, I have nothing around this. Like there's no music, no melody, no lines. Like here's an idea, a cooler way to say we broke up or I fell in love type thing. And then sometimes you come in with a full chorus already drawn out, and you play it, and hopefully the co-writers dig it and want to jump on it. And I mean, there's no right or wrong way. I mean, definitely have strengths in areas but I feel like it changes daily.
Yeah, it's just always a different process.
Yeah.
How many people are you guys like writing with usually or in a room with you?
It's usually 3 to 4. We don't typically go above 4, I don't think, and we have. But
I mean,
we've done like an LA room or a New York room where there's 25
people. On a song. They're sending it, just a chorus, and they're finishing it. Yeah. No, it's usually 3 to 4. I mean, we've done 5 before, but 3 to 4 is usually very realistic too.
I know on Post Malone's album, he had a few songs that had like 8 to 10 people on it. I was like, that's interesting. It's a little different for country music world.
With some pop people who've written some massive pop hits. There's like 17, 18 writers on those songs, and sometimes this is kind of a funny concept, but it's how the pop world works. Like those writers have never even met each other, so they've written the song, and it's like they just sent that over to somebody else, and they put a line in, or they put a bass in, or whatever it is.
So
and
cool.
Different world, but yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people outside of Nashville realize that there is way more. Like you're not always going into a room with a country writer or a country artist. You know, it's always going to be maybe a pop influence guy or a rock influence girl or whatever it is. You know.
Yeah.
Do you like writing with a lot of these different influences? Like when it comes to you guys putting out songs, or you just guys cutting songs, sending them out to different people?
I mean, for me, the creative part is like you can get a good song with anybody. I mean, you don't necessarily always mesh well with every writer, and it doesn't mean one or the other is not creative or not talented or anything.
Absolutely.
Sometimes just you and that person didn't work. But I think that because the door is wide open, you're right with some super talented people that you can get the best song with anybody, even if they don't even have a country bone in them, or you don't have a pop bone in you. You might write the best pop song ever and be a super country writer. And so the door's open here, and it's filled with insanely talented people. So you're always going to get something cool, I feel like.
what was your aspect of like moving to Nashville, like Stone? Like, were you like, wow, this is a big change for me, or?
Yeah, the change really wasn't the city. I'm being from a small town Iowa because I've traveled and I've been in big cities. It's more just the industry itself. There's nothing like it. It's equally professional and unprofessional in the fact that getting drinks down at the bar at noon is a business meeting, and it's something that needs to be taken seriously and both, laid
also
back.
Get drunk a little bit.
There's really nothing like the music industry that I've seen, and I'm still, taken back by it, trying to like figure it all out. But that was the biggest adjustment, was just the whole industry, and I took a few years. I've done stupid things, made some mistakes, but just figuring out the industry. It's a small little community too. It's kind of like kind of like a high school. Everybody in town.
Yeah,
that's one thing. It seems huge where it's like some people will never know your name. It's like once you're kind of in it and around it, like it is like high school. Like people, even if you're not the top of the top, like people start hearing stories, whether good or bad.
Yeah, I remember when I first started helping out with Nathan Wilson, Lindsay and Taylor over at Round Hill. They were like, you need to go talk to Andrew Stone. He's the dude. He knows it all. Like, he's done some of the coolest stuff. And I remember you were nice enough. I messaged you. I was like, yo, let's go grab breakfast or, grab a coffee somewhere. And we went to...
Wendell Smith's?
Yes. Yeah. I love that place. Yeah. I've been there. That was the first time I was there. I've probably been there about 10 or 15 times now.
It's a good little spot.
Yeah.
Little diner on Charlotte. Drake White showed me that spot. We go there all the time for coffee.
How'd you get your connection with Drake White? So we actually ran into him that day. He was there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So I was out with Tucker for the first 3 or so years. I was in town and got all the way up to tour managing him after starting off just filling coolers with ice. And then Tucker had a break between his record deals between Big Machine and ended up being at Warner. But there was a little window there where I didn't have a job. So I had a mutual friend that was out running sound for Drake, and they needed a spot, and so they called me. So it was just knowing. I'd only been in town 3 years, but still, it was already through knowing people, which is a big thing here in Nashville. Being able to make connections.
Stone's also so talented, like in so many aspects. Like it's seriously like we're having him like just on a tour. It's like, oh well, we don't have. I know you're doing guitar tech, or I know you're doing managing. It's like, but our guitar player's sick. You want to get up and just play the full set. And Stone, he'll never say this about himself, that he could get up and just play the full set. Like he knows he's got a
Drake texted me this morning. Actually, he's like, "Can you play guitar for me the weekend of April 4th?" And I got a golf tournament. So I can't
Must be an important golf tournament.
Dude, the purse is big. We gotta take it home.
Yeah.
We'll post about it in a month when I win that thing.
Are you golfing with any cool people on that one?
No. There's just some tournaments in town I like to play just to get the competitive edge back with it. You can kind of get that fixed through writing, just trying to write the best song. But
so you stay.
There's nothing you gotta compete.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotta compete.
So do you guys still follow? Like, obviously, you guys are big into sports still. You guys watch sports.
Oh yeah.
Who are some of the teams you root for?
Well, Joe and I were just talking about this earlier. I don't really have like a faithful fandom since there's no
Lions.
There's no pro teams in Iowa, but Joe and I are staying on the FanDuel app probably a little too much, and it just makes the games more interesting. And every night, we'll sit there at the TV and we'll have something on something.
Are you guys good? Like, are you guys like?
Well, let's just say Vegas. Vegas isn't made. Like, it didn't create winners, like by any means. But like, we always come close. We're never just like so far out of the race, but just close enough to put that extra bet in after you miss it by one. Like,
are you guys putting like parlays?
Oh yeah,
dude, you name it. I got in probably a little too deep. Like, I got money on next year's Wimbledon tournament.
Stone's a future better. Like he'll bet on.
I'm in deep.
That's great.
I got some after this podcast. I'll check. See.
Yeah, when you were walking in, you're watching the Lakers game. You said so you have money on that too.
Yeah.
Stone's kind of a Lakers fan though, a little bit. Like he said, he's not like a diehard like fan of any specific team, but like watching guys like LeBron and stuff, it's hard not to.
What about you, Joe? I mean, you said you grew up in Nashville,
Yeah, and I mean, I like the Titans. I root for them. I'm never rooting against them, but
Nashville sports teams suck right now.
man, yeah, it's been hard. Yeah, it's been hard. They have since the McNair days or even the Vince Young. They had some, and they've had some playoff years, but it's also been fun to root for, become like almost fans of like these teams that our close buddies play for. They get up and support us, and it's always fun going when. We flew up to Detroit when TJ was playing for Detroit, and we went to some games, and we stayed at his place and just went to the games, and that's always great.
Yeah.
Like root for somebody like that's our buddy. Like, so that's how we become fans of certain teams.
Yeah, what's the experience of going and having a buddy on the team, but watching him play? Because it's like very few people actually have a pro buddy that's playing.
It's fun. I don't know. Like you're always hoping they crush it and they have a killer game. Like more so than even winning.
Yeah.
Like, the team winning the game. You're like, I hope my buddy does well. Cause
Well, I feel like for you, Stone, it might be a little bit just like normal because it's like you've done it in college. You played for some big crowds and stuff.
Yeah, we have played for some big crowds, but the first kind of like wow moment really was like when you get a friend that goes to the league and then signs for, one day we're at Iowa getting parking tickets and eating, the chicken breast, and then you sign a $25 million contract, and then they visit back for homecoming, and they're multi-millionaire now. I saw you 6 months ago, and you have $25 more million, and
if this whole money thing in college that's going on now, if it was around when you were there, you think you would have cashed out?
Yeah, gas station NIL, dude. For sure. I've been selling chapstick deals, you name it.
Stone got a little bit of NCAA money from back. When was what was the NCAA game?
Was it NCAA 2014?
14,
Was the last
yeah.
game, so I got a check from EA Sports for like $80.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Is it just like your number, or was like your name, like your name's in the game?
It was number. It was number at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm honestly not even sure.
That's wild. That's so cool.
I know, yeah. I should have kept the check because it said EA Sports, but just cashed it and went and bought a sub or something.
EA Sports.
Yeah. Should have been more than $80.
Yeah.
100 or something.
So
something around there.
What was your record when were one of the best years that you had?
We were 12-0 my senior year, and then went to the Big Ten championship. I think we were third or fourth in the country, so we were going to be in the top four for the playoffs.
Yeah.
In the last second, we lost to Michigan State, and they went on to play Alabama, which is probably for the bet. That was Alabama's Derrick Henry year, so I don't think it mattered who they were going to play. They were winning. So we ended up going to the Rose Bowl, and Christian McCaffrey just hammered us.
Yeah.
Got whooped.
Do you have any insider on how Alabama was so good for so long?
I do. I've heard some things. I've heard some things, and
Jane
it's
Gillis said it on
probably
Game Day one day.
Exactly what you'd expect. They're
Yeah.
I don't divulge too much information, but some of those guys were living pretty good down there.
I bet.
Yeah. Nice places. Nice pool out back, nice car.
That's crazy. And who was it? Baker that got in trouble for Johnny Manziel? He was selling like autographs and stuff in college.
Manziel.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And he talks about it now. It's like everything he was doing, he would have been 1,000% fine now. Like, and would have made tons of money. I mean, just tons.
That's so wild. Did you not that you can really say, but was there obviously a lot more of that stuff going on than people thought? Like,
I've heard stories from.
Rumor has it.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing like that from where we played up at
absolutely.
Iowa, which is probably why we were getting routed in the Rose Bowl. But nothing,
you guys have had some great players come out of that school.
But nothing sketchy going on up there in terms of money and paying players.
It was good, clean fun.
Being from Michigan too. That's what I always thought about Michigan and Michigan State. I think, but no one really knows like us out there.
I'm just kidding.
I'm a State fan, so I think they play it pretty fair. Michigan's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Harbaugh fan, but a lot of my friends are in Michigan.
Yeah.
So it's wild. So y'all been living in Nashville for how many years now?
8 for me.
I've been here my whole life, born and raised here. So yeah.
So like you went to Nashville schools, like
Yeah, I went to high school in Bellevue, so like 15, 20 minutes west.
did they like force you to take music classes and stuff?
Oh no, they didn't. It was there wasn't really like the schools. At least when I was growing up here, they weren't forcing music onto you at all. Like it wasn't. I mean, it was because it wasn't such a massive scene like it is. I mean, like it's becoming. I guess it was still smaller country scene.
So you've seen it change like crazy.
Oh man, yeah. None of this, all the new buildings, everything. Yeah, it's brand new basically. People ask me, like they'll come into town and ask me where to go, and I'm like, dude, there's something new that pops up every week here. So you're better off looking it up than just asking me specifically where to go. I mean, just because I'm from here, I was like, that doesn't mean I know.
I saw a video on TikTok the other day, and it was like Music Row, and like going on to Demumber, like in the 90s or like early 2000s, and there was Wild West, and like where like Live Oak or the old Live Oak was, and like like it just did not look the same. And then when you turned and looked down the Demumber Road and looked at the city, it was just wide open, and you had like a few tall buildings like
Broadway and like the Batman building, like that was it, like the AT&T,
And obviously you see it with just Broadway itself, all these new bars that you put in. Bars are constantly changing down there. I feel like who owns it, what country artist is the face of it.
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't like a thing. Like the big stars didn't have necessarily like a bar. Now every like massive A-list star is opening a bar down there. That seems like it's more of a new thing. They didn't have that when I was in middle school and high school.
And even the 8 years that you've been here, the 3 years I've been here, I've seen it change a shit ton. So
I remember right when I got down here, we'd go out on the road and be gone Thursday through Sunday and come back, and I swear there'd be like another building, and you'd leave again, there'd be another, like you come back, and just it changed over like the weekend. It was pretty.
That's wild.
There were cranes, like you'd leave town in the bus and look back, and then there'd be 20 cranes just on downtown.
What are some of your favorite bars? You guys like the Broadway scene, or do you prefer to stay off?
We definitely did. Like, I mean, we'd always like go down. It's funny because a lot of the NFL guys, when they first got drafted, like every weekend, like we were going to Luke Bryan's or Aldean's or something, and they were getting a room. Like, and we'd always just tag along. They'd tell us, but we kind of got spoiled in the sense that it's like, well, now I'm not going down there and waiting in line. Yeah. It's like we're not going out of our way to go to Broadway. I feel like most of the time now it's more of like, I guess it's not as chill, but chill like Red Door or something if we're just doing something.
Yeah, I feel like it's a similar progression for a lot of people where it's like you get to town and it's Broadway, or you become of age if you grew up there, I guess.
Right.
And, and it's Broadway, and then you kind of flush that out of your system.
Yeah. You go broke.
Yeah.
And you got friends that visit, and you're like, well, you can go to Broadway. I'll wait at the house, and we'll hang out when you get done at Broadway.
Yeah, that's wild. So, Joe, you living here, growing up here, was Jelly Roll a big thing? Like growing up, like was he
in my high school? I went to Nashville Christian, so it was a small Christian school in Bellevue. A lot of my friends listened to him, like and it was back when he was solely rap, like. And they had all of his, like, I don't even know if it was, like, mixtape, underground, like, what that would be
considered. What about Ernest? Because he's a Nashville guy, too.
Yeah, Ernest went to Lipscomb. He was a year or two older than me, but I actually remember I went to a Lipscomb talent show, and I remember I was at Nashville Christian and went to a Lipscomb talent show, and he got up and played. I know he played baseball there, so, like, we always, like, played against each other at some points, and he got up and played, and I was like, he's talented. He had like a thing for sure, but I didn't know him personally.
Yeah. Was he singing like rap or like?
He almost
because I know at the time he was doing like like kind of the R&B and the rap and stuff, but then he worked his way into country music, and he's kind of always had that kind of back and forth vibe.
Yeah, I feel like I might be wrong on this, like looking all the way back to high school, but if I remember correctly, I feel like it was like more in that like Ed Sheeran, like range of like he kind of did a little bit of like he made it what it
just
own
mixed it
thing.
up,
It's just more of like his style thing, and you could tell he had some talent, and feel for it. Sure, something different, but guys like Mitchell Tenpenny, he went to Lipscomb. He was actually my big buddy when I was in pre-K.
Really? That's awesome.
He'd walk me up to when I got dropped off at school at St. Paul. He'd walk me up to class and before. And so the whole
that's wild
crew of like Nashville people that made it. It's kind of crazy.
Like you said, you played baseball. Because I know Ernest talked about it before. He's played Morgan in baseball, and you said you played Ernest in baseball. Have you played Morgan in baseball?
No. I think they were. That must have been like travel. Again, Ernest is a few years older than me.
Yeah.
And that was just like when Nashville Christian would scrimmage Lipscomb or something.
Yeah.
That's how it would,
So that's so cool. Were you always like, was football always a big thing for you? Like you knew right away you were going to go to college and play football?
I know I wanted to. I didn't think that was, too attainable because I was
humble Stone.
I played all the sports, but I was a little guy. I was, freshman year, 5'5", 105 pounds, soaking wet. If I'm not, going into sophomore, junior year, still under 6 foot, 130 pounds, I'm not like I'm going to the league. That's ridiculous to think about. I had to grind pretty hard just to even, just to even.
So were the offers like flowing in senior year?
No, not quite. I played at a small school in Iowa, high school. In my senior year, we didn't have enough players to have a team. So my junior year, I dominated pretty well because we're playing, Riceville and these tiny little schools. But then my senior year, we didn't have a football team, so I had to drive over to another school and play with them. So that was, they took me in, which was already tough because I'm taking someone's position, a kid that doesn't go to school. I'm coming in, wide receiver, pass me the ball.
I feel like my senior year, my junior year, we had that happen too. Where like we were a small town team, but then we're on the cusp of like becoming like a small town team that's really good for like being a small town. And we had all these kids from all these bigger schools come in and come to our school because they didn't play at the bigger school, but they could start at our school, And it was wild. Did you play any like of those all-star games? Like I know like Michigan had like the Michigan all-star game.
Yeah. No, I didn't because I was always on to the next sport. So like when football ended, started doing basketball, and that ended. Got into baseball.
What was your favorite sport? Like
it was football. That's why I went with it. I was probably best at baseball, but football was. I just loved it so much. So
what position did you play in high school? Receiver too, or what were you?
Yeah, I was a receiver.
Yeah. What about baseball?
Center field.
What about you?
I was third base. But also, I wanted to say Stone. There's some highlights of Stone playing baseball. He was a baller. He was. Would you say you were better? Yeah, he was a. I mean, he was a baseballer too.
I probably should have played baseball.
Really?
Yeah.
Played pro?
I mean,
Yeah.
Man, when we were playing at football, we were going out to a 2-a-day practice, and we're holding our helmets with our pads on. Like, all right, we're about to have 2.5 hours of like some head hitting, just. And you look over at the baseball guys, and they're laying on the grass. Yeah, they're laying on the grass and like putting in tobacco and spitting it, and just like playing catch with each other, like long sport, And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
You still have time. You go get that career back.
Yeah. That's why he's playing these golf tournaments. Though. You never know. That can last forever.
Yeah, that's
right. My dad always said in high school or middle school, whatever it was, he always said, be good at golf and basketball because you can play those when you're old.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call.
And I mean, looking back, and I'm like, damn, I suck at basketball, but golf, I feel like I got some work to do, but I think I can become a decent golfer.
Yeah,
sure.
Golf's one of those like when you're on the road and like you want to chill day, but like kind of want to be active. Like if you're good, I'm not good. Like these guys can play every day. Him, and my brother, and like
you see music industry people all the time on the road golfing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Do that? Like obviously you guys are on the road a lot. So would you guys go hit a course?
I have before. That's mainly when I'm out on the bus and like you have a day off. Not really when we were on the last tour, the Whelan Stone tour that we went on. It's kind of like get to the venue as soon as possible, get things going, and get on to the next place. It wasn't as much of we got the day off, let's go golf. So, but when we get the chance,
What's your favorite course?
I've played Sawgrass. That's my favorite one I've played. They're playing it this week at the Players down in Florida, TPC Sawgrass.
That's wild. What about you, Joe? Are you a golfer? Or are you a good golfer?
No, I'm not. Like the putt place right down the road or something. No, I don't play. I don't play enough. It's so frustrating because it's like my brother and him, like they're great, and it's like they can keep the game moving, and like I feel like when I go out, I'm just hitting it into the other fairway and the woods and stuff, and like they're cool with it. Like they don't get upset about it, but I do. Like I'm mad at myself. I can't hold the team back.
I feel like the moment I moved to Nashville, I was like, I kind of like really slowed down golfing. But when I lived back home, we had 2 or 3 courses around us that would be, $15, $30 for 18 holes and cart.
Yeah.
You get a $2 hot dog halfway through, and
Dude, it's a great social aspect too. Just being outside in the sun and grass and having a few drinks.
yeah.
It's tough to beat.
Yeah. I mean, do you find that a lot of like you said earlier, right? You have meetings that are drinking. There's a lot of golf meetings too that are music related.
I've been offered to go golfing with a lot of songwriters that are like, let's just kick it. It's good bonding, good way to get to know someone. You get closer to someone. That's kind of what this industry is about.
What are you golfing?
What am I golfing?
Yeah. Are you?
I'm trying to break the par. When I go out, it doesn't happen too often, but I at least try to.
Yeah.
Usually around 74, I'd say I average.
Do you ever take him with you?
We used to go a lot, but not as of late.
Listen, golf. No, he does. No, he tries. But golf is one of those sports. First off, it's expensive.
Yes,
so if you're not good, you're just wasting. You're
Especially
wasting money and your time.
Nashville golf. I mean, it's even with a discount, you're like shit.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the frustrating part. It's like, in order for me to go out and feel good about it, I feel like I need to practice more, which I don't.
Yeah.
And so to drop the money to go play and spend the 5 hours doing it, it's just
We
hard
went to a bachelor party, Forrest Finn's actually. Another shout out to Forrest. Played some real nice courses, and Joe would just ride in the cart, have some drinks, and
hit when I wanted. Hit when it was an easy shot or
and
something.
just enjoy the beautiful day, which still is a great day.
Yeah. No, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Are you guys listening to tunes out on the course? Are you that type of golfer?
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm really cool with anything, and I've been around anything.
So there's no distractions.
Some people want silence. Some people want the music blaring.
I've played with golfers that are if a bird flies by, we'll have to reset. But it's dude,
Hole in
turn
one?
the music up. I've gotten hole in one.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What course?
Nashville out by the airport.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I was actually in a meeting with Joe, and I didn't have a right that day. And someone's like, "You want to golf?" And I think it was like, this is what I was wearing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. So I went to the course in this, and I was wearing boots and jeans. And I met up with them on like hole 11 or 12 because they were already playing. I was like, I got a meeting, but as soon as I'm done, I'm there. That's how much I love golf. So I show up on like hole 11 or 12, and then on hole 13, I got a hole in one in my boots and stuff.
That's wild.
They're like, this asshole.
That's crazy.
You know, a picture of the hole in one in your music attire.
That's so cool.
Wearing boots.
What type of boots were you wearing?
Shoot.
Like, was it lace up or were you like cowboy boots?
Oh, they weren't cowboy boots.
Yeah.
They were lace up. They're similar to what Joe's got on right there.
That's still not easy. No matter what.
Speaking of golf, can I get one more of these good boys?
Hey,
John Daly.
Shout out Good Boy. I'm trying to.
Dude, I saw these like 6 years ago. The can, I don't think looks like this.
No, yeah, they have different ones. It was a collab. So they had Good Boy first, I believe. They had it as like a drink first, and then John Daly did like a collab.
Okay.
But I think like a percentage of each can goes to like dogs, like or something. So,
Dude, shout out dogs.
Dogs.
We were playing the or the Windy City Smokeout in Chicago in like 2018, and Daly showed up backstage, and he brought like a full case of these. He's like, here you guys go. And we ended up, our set was like noon or something. We weren't headlining, and so we had the rest of the night off. So we just stood, sang there, or chilled there backstage, set up chairs. And
Have you seen him play? Because he plays music and stuff.
Yeah. Drake White's a real good friend of his. So like when we played in Arkansas, he let us use his house as his green room. So we stayed at his place for a night. And then that Windy City Smokeout, we met him. I mean, we've crossed paths probably 4 or 5 times.
You probably got some cool stories.
Got some wild stories.
You can be vague, but what's the coolest story you got with Mr. John Daly?
Mr. John Daly. I got a couple. When we were staying at his house, he's got all these. His whole house is like jerseys, like on the wall, and you go read them, and it's like, "I'll get you back, you son of a bitch." Signed Kobe Bryant. You go to the next one, and it's like, I mean, Jim Brown.
Yeah.
You name it. His jerseys are insane. He's got a personalized jersey from every athlete you could think of. I think that was pretty sick. But when we were doing the Windy City Smokeout in Chicago, and he was backstage, it's because he was playing a golf tournament in Chicago. And he's got his Tito's, and he's filling his glass up with Tito's, and I'm like, what is he mixing that with? Like, he wasn't. He was just drinking Tito's. That night has plenty of stories, but I can't share them. And then he stays pretty late. Like, in his, the person he was with, like, John, we gotta go. We have you tee off at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Morning time, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't too late. It's probably like 10:30, 11. We're like, John, we gotta go. You tee off at 8 a.m. And we're like, there's no way. He's like, so he ends up leaving, and we wake up the next morning and we're like, check. We're like, I wonder what he shot today. Like, what is John Daly shooting? He withdrew from the tournament. He was like, no, that's not gonna happen.
That's wild.
We were having a rowdy night in Chicago.
That's crazy.
Which I'll tell you about off camera.
Yeah. One of my favorite Daly stories I've heard is he was playing Tiger in one of the tournaments, but he's in the clubhouse. He's drinking all day. Tiger goes out. He's practicing, comes back in. John Daly's still chugging away, drinking, and the next day the tournament happens, goes out, and I think Mr. Daly whips Tiger whips the ass.
Is that the time that Tiger said, where John Daly was trying to tell Tiger, why don't you just come over and drink some and not go out there and practice? I think Tiger would say something like,
if I had your talent.
If I had your talent, I would never have to go out there and practice. But Daly went out the next day, I guess. I mean, according to, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but shot one lower than him or so, a couple lower than him. Yeah.
It's so cool.
He's a good guy.
So like you said, you're a good baseball player. Do you think that translates a lot to like from golf to baseball?
Definitely. I mean, hitting the ball is the main part. I mean, because you can figure out how to control it, but just hitting it alone, like the athletic movement of hitting a ball is key.
That's wild. So what's the next and newest thing that's coming up for you guys? You guys got any shows, or can you release any new music drops?
I mean, I think right now we've got that show in Gilroy, California coming up, Day on the Ridge, which that's always fun. We play in front of a great crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, playing with other great artists. In terms of the music thing, like I said, we're just trying to figure out, a few logistic stuff, but like the best route to release but I mean, we're definitely going to have new music out, whether it be in a month or 2 months. We constantly write, so the music is there. We always have it and ready to record, but just doing it the right way and making sure we're all on the same page with putting it out and stuff. So yeah, I think on both ends, playing shows, we'll be around playing shows. And within the next couple months, we'll have some music out too. So
sweet. Are you guys good friends? You guys are pretty good friends. It seems like it.
We lived together for 8 straight years.
Damn, that's impressive.
Right when he moved to town, we had the whole band at first, and it broke down to a few left, and then just like 5 of us, and then
people getting married, people leaving, and then And there were
Like we need to move to closer to Nashville to do the Nashville thing. So yeah.
So cool. Well, Whelan Stone, I appreciate y'all popping on Podunk Perspective. It's been a pleasure. Had some great conversations. And I'm gonna have you guys on again very soon. You know, we do.
Run it back.
Yeah.
Run it back here real soon. So I appreciate it, and thank y'all for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We enjoyed it.
Go check out Whelan Stone's music and stuff, their content, all their stuff, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, whatever it is. You got Joe Whelan. What's your Instagram?
Andrew Stone 20.
Andrew Stone 20. You heard it first. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Whelan Stone is the artist account.
Whelan Stone. You heard it. Go follow it. All right. Sweet. Thank you guys.